The reason that EVs need so many tax breaks, incentives and subsidies is because they are simply not competitive compared to regular combustion cars. If they were able to compete on a level playing field, there would be no need for all these taxpayer-funded freebies, as the market would rush towards electrification naturally. The fact that it doesn't just highlights what we all know, namely that EVs are less convenient, less practical than their combustion counterparts. For most people living in apartments or in houses with no off-street parking, there is no getting round the pain of waiting for it to charge, and there's no comparison between that and filling up a tank in 5 minutes. It's not surprising that such a retrograde step requires a huge amount of market manipulation to force people to buy them. And nowhere is this better demonstrated than in the United States, where the Biden administration, driven by misguided climate change ideology, lavished billions of dollars to tip the scales in favour of electric vehicles. Of course, if you're getting $7,500 off a new car, that's over 11,000 Aussie dollars, nearly a third of the price. Why not go electric? But at the end of last month, the spigot of generous taxpayer-funded freebies was finally turned off. And guess what? EV sales have absolutely tanked. Firstly, a quick article from Car Scoops, which deals with some research from JD Power, which paints a bleak picture of the future of EVs in the US. EV sales will collapse 60% in October, JD Power forecasts. Electric vehicle demand is set to crash this month after tax credits vanish and buyers back away. There was no getting around the fact that EV sales would take a massive blow without government subsidies. $7,500 is no small amount of cash, and tacking it onto the price of a car will make most vehicles way less appealing. If JD Power is right, the loss of that credit has had an even larger impact on the EV market than many in the industry expected. The research firm working with global data predicts 54,673 EV retail sales for October. If that figure holds, it represents a 43.1% decline compared with October 2024. When 96,000 electric vehicles were sold. That would also mean a slide in market share from 8.5% to just 5.2%. That's a massive drop from the way September went. EVs hit a record 12.9% of the market that month. Yet, if October's projected 54,000 EV sales come true, it would mark a 59.9% drop from September's 136,000 units. The automotive industry is experiencing a significant recalibration in the electric vehicle segment, said JD Power data analyst Tyson Jomini. The recent EV market correction underscores a critical lesson. Consumers prefer having access to a range of powertrain options. Absolutely correct. Perhaps the wildest bit of this entire thing is that it could have been even worse for EVs. Many brands, including Hyundai, GM and Tesla, rolled out different methods to ease the pain of losing the federal tax credit. Had they not done those things, like cutting total costs, rolling out new cheaper models and more, the hit would have no doubt been even harder. I mean, none of this should come as a surprise if you've been following this channel for a while. People don't want to be told what kind of car to buy. They want to have the choice of powertrain, as the guy says. Consumers have the right to decide whether they want to buy a petrol, diesel, hybrid or even an EV. Perhaps an EV will work for them. Perhaps they have off-street parking and they can just charge overnight. They've got solar panels and a battery and it works for them. Fine. But there's a lot of people for whom it does not work. It simply does not work. You know, if you live in an apartment block or you've got a house on a street with no off-street parking, there is no way you can charge overnight, and that makes going to a public charging station, queuing up and waiting for perhaps half an hour or more simply impractical, and people do not want to do it. It's as simple as that. Now on to the article, which actually gives some figures for the first week in October, and it's absolutely shocking. Electric vehicle sales plummet as federal government rolls back $7,500 sales incentive. EV inventories cut nearly in half since June. Electric vehicle sales at auto dealerships around the country have dropped by 74% from their 2025 peak, following the elimination of the $7,500 federal tax incentive formalised by the Big Beautiful Bill signing. The findings are part of Cloud Theory's quarterly automotive industry report On the Horizon, released today. Electric vehicle sales at retail peaked at 23,000 units for the week from September the 22nd to 28th, the last full sales week before the tax incentive elimination. For the week of October the 6th to 12th, the first full week following the tax incentive elimination, EV sales fell to 5,929 units. Electric vehicle inventories have also plummeted in recent months, dropping from a peak of 196,000 in June to 104,000 on October the 12th, a 47% drop. General Motors had the highest EV inventory level with 39,164 EVs remaining, followed by Ford and Hyundai. Japanese manufacturers meanwhile have very little EV inventory remaining. Nissan has just 419 units remaining, Toyota 435 and Honda has 2,138. In the short term, domestic automakers are still sitting on sizable EV inventory levels, a result of aggressive investment and production ramp-ups that defined their prior philosophies, said Rick Wainshall, Vice President of Data Science and Analytics for Cloud Theory. Meanwhile, many foreign OEMs have taken a more cautious approach and have pulled back EV allocations to the US amid policy uncertainty and margin tariff pressures. Well, I think the prior philosophies of going all electric as fast as possible has now well and truly been abandoned by most of the auto industry. They can see the writing on the wall. People do not want EVs if they're forced to buy them. And so they're going back to building the kind of product that people want to buy, which is combustion cars. Unfortunately, that's the way it's going to be for the foreseeable future, despite what the mandates say and despite what the policymakers try to impose top-down on consumers. Consumers will win in the end. The market will win in the end. And these stories from the US just show how much of an effect those subsidies and tax breaks do have on the car buying public. Sure, if you're going to give me $7,500 to buy an electric car, I'll buy an electric car. But if I'm not going to get that kind of discount off the price, then forget it. I'm going to buy something that I want. All right, that's it for this one. Thanks very much for watching. Really hope you enjoyed it. Look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye for now. If you'd like to support this channel and display your anti-EV credentials to your Tesla-owning neighbours at the same time, why not buy some awesome MGUY merchandise, like this mug, this baseball cap, or this t-shirt. Each high-quality item sports the MGUY No EVs sign, and they're all made to order, perfect for irritating the hell out of your local EV zealots. Visit store.mguy.tv or click the link in the description to check out the full range of products. And of course, you can always just buy me a coffee. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code on screen. Thanks very much for watching. Really hope you enjoyed it. If you've got any tips or stories, go there. If you'd like to watch another video, go there. If you'd like to buy me a coffee, go there. And please subscribe to the channel.